Hello and welcome to Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. My name is Bridget Fuliaki Davis. I am a chef, I am a nutritionist, and I am an award-winning cookbook author who focuses on creating healthy, delicious food that has no gluten, that has no sugar, and that has no dairy. Now, if you are a first-time watcher, welcome to my kitchen. It's great to have you here. Make sure you subscribe to my Facebook page, my YouTube channel. You can also go onto Modkai, which is our recipe sharing platform as well, and you can join us there. So it's good to have you on board. If you're a long-time viewer, this will come as no surprise what we're going to be cooking today. I've been on a real lemon kick at the moment. It's coming towards the end of lemon season, so I thought I would sneak one more little lemon recipe into our cooking classes, and today we're going to be making some lemon and poppy seed muffins. And as you guys know, lemon and poppy seed is a classic combination. But did you also know that lemons are really good for us, and so are poppy seeds? So lemons are really high in vitamin C. They are also really high in antioxidants, and they are a great source of anti-inflammatory properties. So they're wonderful for us. But poppy seeds, and this may come as a bit of a surprise, poppy seeds are nutrient dense. They have a good amount of fiber in them, which means they help with digestion and creating that wonderful gut healthy environment that we really love. So these lemon poppy seed muffins, of course, are gluten-free, they are sugar-free, and they are dairy-free, and they're also grain-free as well. So they're really good for us, and they're easy to make. So let's get into the recipe. So simple recipe for us today. I'm going to be working straight onto my scales here. It's the easiest way, saves on all the washing up as well. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is just creating the batter for our lemon and poppy seed muffin. So I've got 200 grams here of almond flour. You could also use almond meal, or you could use another nut flour, or even possibly a seed flour of your choosing. So 200 grams, which is 7 ounces, is going to go into our bowl there. As well as that, we are going to be putting just a little bit of coconut flour into the mix. And you've got to be really careful when you are using coconut flour, because it can be quite drying to the mixture if you add too much. So into our coconut flour, we're just going to add in 20 grams, which is about 3/4 of an ounce of our coconut flour. See how careful I'm being? Honestly, a bit too much coconut flour, and it really does suck all the moisture out of your baked items. So you just want to be careful. So 20 grams or 3/4 of an ounce of our coconut flour is going in there. We're also going to be sweetening up our mixture today by using 0 edge sugar. And by the way, this mix makes enough for about 8 to 9 muffins. So for our 0 sugar, we're going to be adding 60 grams, which is 2 ounces of 0 is going in there. And as you guys know, 0 has no calories. It has very low, almost no glycemic index as well, which means it won't spike your blood glucose and it will not raise your insulin levels. So really good for us, all natural, derived from plants, of course, and it's got 0 laxative effect, which is really important because some other erythritols on the market, they may cause a quick run to the toilet. Ours doesn't. Of course, you can get our 0 from our store, Bridget's.shop. You can go there and get your own bag of our pure 0. So we've got that in there. We're also going to be adding in, of course, how can we forget, poppy seeds. Now for the poppy seeds, you're going to be using 20 grams, which is once again 3/4 of an ounce of poppy seeds go in there. So as I was saying, poppy seeds, surprisingly, right? They're really good for us, nutrient dense. And of course, they've got that wonderful fiber going on there, which is just so good for our gut health. So 20 grams, 3/4 of an ounce of our poppy seeds go in there. We're also going to add in a bit of baking soda. And you want to add in a teaspoon of baking soda, which is our bicarb of soda. And I always like to, when I add in my baking soda, just give it a bit of a push down with your thumb just to make sure there's no lumps, because otherwise you might get a lump of baking soda in your muffin. That will not be nice. So that goes in there as well. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Let's also add just a pinch of salt is going to go in there too. Just a pinch, and I'm using mineral salt, of course. Mineral salt's just a little bit better for us than table salt. It does definitely help to balance out the electrolytes in your body. So a pinch of salt is going on there as well. Then just give everything a bit of a mix through, just like that. And that is pretty much our dry ingredients done. So I'm just going to pop that off to the side. Easy. See, told you, nothing too hard in this recipe. It's really wonderful. Okay, so in my bowl here, I have 5 whole eggs, and they are at room temperature. So that's the first thing that you want to do. And then I'm just going to grab some of our sweet as fibre syrup. Once again, this is the best alternative to honey. This is the best alternative to maple syrup, rice malt syrup, agave, any of those pancake syrups. This is the stuff you want to use because this is a prebiotic dietary fiber, smells and tastes like candy floss or fairy floss. Amazing. Of course, you can get that from our store. So we're going to be adding this. This is our alternative syrup, and this syrup is so good for you and really, really low in calories as well. So sweet as fiber syrup is going into our eggs, and we're going to be adding in 60 grams, which is 2 ounces of our fiber syrup. Fiber syrup is obviously going to help to sweeten our muffins, but it also gives the mixture a really nice texture when it's cooked. So it's quite an important little additive that we're going to be putting in there, which is the fiber syrup. And because it's a prebiotic dietary fiber, we have just upped the ante when it comes to the amount of fiber that is in our products. And one of the greatest things about fiber that you may not know is that, of course, it helps to keep you regular, but we should be having at least 30 to 35 grams of fiber a day. Most people around the world who eat a Western style diet are highly deficient in fiber. So we are making sure to give you guys good amounts of fiber, going to keep you feeling fuller longer, going to help to feed your healthy gut microbiome, and it's going to keep you regular, and it tastes amazing. That sweet as fiber syrup tastes so good. Okay, so that is in there. Let's also add in a little bit of unsweetened coconut yogurt, and I'm going to be adding in 40 grams, which is about 1.4 ounces of our coconut yogurt. Once again, weighing it off to make sure I get everything right. So that goes in there. Of course, how could we forget? Haven't added any lemons yet. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are going to be putting a lemon there. Don't you worry about that. But just before I do that, I'm just going to add in a little bit of vanilla. This is a pure vanilla extract. I'm putting in a teaspoon. Well, of about that much, thereabouts, of the vanilla is going in there as well. But let's get into the lemons. Very, very important that we have lemons in our lemon poppy seeds. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking off the zest. So you want to finely grate 1 lemon, about medium size. So you want the zest, finely grated zest of 1 lemon. And of course, we're going to be using the juice as well. So nothing goes to waste, which I really love. And for anyone who loves lemons like I do, you already know that the flavor is all locked in that skin. Lemon juice is great, but lemon zest is really where it's at. So you want to put in the zest of 1 lemon. I'm actually going to, you know what, I'm just going to keep a bit more. I'll show you why in a second, because we are going to be making a bit of a topping for our muffins. So I'm gonna make sure I get all the zest off, but I'm gonna keep it in my little zester there. So the next thing that we need to concern ourselves with is some lemon juice. So we need to add about 30 mils of lemon juice into our wet mixture. And of course freshly squeezed because it's lemon season. And you know, one of the things about eating any type of plant in season is you are getting it at its peak, because that is the prime time to be consuming something when it's in season, because the nutrient content is literally at its best and it tastes best. It's best too, it's lovely and ripe. So we're going to be adding 30 mils or 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and of course depending on how juicy your lemons are, don't lose it, depending on how juicy your lemons are will determine how many lemons you need to use, but we're aiming for 30 mils or 1 ounce. So that's all good, and that's all done. Happy with that. Give these things a bit of a whisk together, just until the egg yolks are completely mixed through and the yogurt is mixed through as well. The yogurt's really going to help as well to give this a very, very lovely texture. And one of the things that I love, about baking is, you know, usually it's a matter of mixing the dry, mixing the wet, and then combining them. This is one of those recipes. That's all you got to do. Combine things to make something really, really gorgeous. Okie dokie. So don't need scales anymore, that can go down there. As I was saying, all we need to do now is to combine the dry and the wet mixture together. Just using a spoon, all you need to do is just mix it. You don't have to worry about being careful here because there's no gluten. And if we had gluten, I would be very concerned about over mixing, because it can sometimes make muffins quite tough, but there's no gluten. It's gluten and grain free, which means that I can be as rough as possible here, just making sure that it's well mixed. That's all I care about. So that is good. I now have my muffin tray, and I've lined it with my muffin cases, as you can see. Go crazy on the colors. I happen to have flamingos today, which is very exciting. Lovely flamingos. And once you are happy with how mixed your product is, looking good, then you just fill up your cases. And you want to fill the cases till they're about 3/4 of the way full. These don't, because we don't have any gluten in these, you're not going to get a massive rise out of them. So you can go 3/4 full quite happily. And what I also like to do is I like to double muffin case. I always, for some reason, I just think it's just better. I can't give you a scientific reason why, but I always double muffin case. I always do it. So 3/4 of the way up, you will get, as I was saying, 8 to 9 muffins out of your mix. You could potentially even squeeze 10 out, just by going maybe just over halfway up the cases. So it really depends on how generous you are or how stingy you want to be. But I suppose if you're being stingy, you're getting more muffins, so that's not stingy at all. That's actually really good. So those go in there. And by the way, the oven is set on fan forced, and I've got that set at 170 degrees, which is 320 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a fan forced oven, you've just got a normal bake oven, then set it at 180 or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So just a little bit hotter if you're not using a fan. All right, so those are in there. Looking good. As I was teasing before, we are going to make a bit of a topping for our muffins just to give it a lovely little crunch. And this is very, very simple to do. So before these go popped into the oven, in my bowl here, I have about 20 grams, which is 3/4 of an ounce of almond flour. But once again, if you're not using almond, whatever nut or seed flour you choose, that's what you put in here, because remember, for your topping. Remember that little lemon zest that I kept? That's what I kept it for. So just smack it on down there, get into the bowl, and then we just want to give it a little bit of sweetness. So we head back to our friend erythritol, or zero as sugar, and you just want to put in a couple tablespoons of zero goes into here as well. And this is your lovely topping, and it almost makes it becomes quite crunchy as it bakes, which is really, really nice. So you can totally do this. So once those go on, just like this, And then generously sprinkle some of the topping on our muffins here. Give it a really be generous here, because they will rise a little bit and then they'll get lovely and crunchy on top. So sprinkle these on, and then all you need to do is to pop your muffins into the oven. They will take anywhere from 22 to 25 minutes to be fully cooked and amazing. So here's some I prepared earlier. Tum, ta-dum, tum. I do love the reveal time. Yes, I absolutely do. Here you go. These are our lemon poppy seed muffins. Told you they were simple to make. I wasn't lying, was I? Mix the dry and the wet together, put it into a muffin case, bake it in the oven for 22 to 25 minutes, and what you are rewarded with is a very tender, very delicious crumb of a muffin. So the only thing left to do, possibly if you want to, is just to get out your little sprinkle of inulin and sprinkle it over the top with your little inulin powder to give it a lovely dusting of icing sugar. You are more than welcome to do that, and then it's time to eat. Now these muffins are delicious served hot from the oven, but they are also just as good if you're eating them cold as well. They will last for a couple of days, even on the bench. You don't even have to refrigerate them, but if you wanted to make them last a little bit longer, you could have these in a container with a lid in the fridge. They're going to last for 3 to 4 days. Just before you eat them, I just suggest you bring them either to room temperature or just pop them in the microwave for 10 seconds just to get a little bit of heat on them, and they are absolutely wonderful. As I was saying, the crumb is delicious. You're going to love this recipe, and as I said, it is my ode to the wonderful lemon. As we leave lemon season behind us, we're heading into spring in Sydney, which means of course I'm going to be having lots more spring recipes coming up for you guys really soon. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me here in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. If you would like a full copy of this recipe, all you need to do is to go to our recipe sharing website, which is modkai.com, and you can get the recipe there. You can either look at it online, you can download your own copy of this recipe as well. And while you're there, make sure, leave us a comment, let us know how you're going. And don't forget, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can join me on Facebook as well. And you can just be spending time with me here in this beautiful kitchen. So thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed today. I also hope you stay well and you stay safe. Take care, guys. Bye.